to the first episode of Ten Story Showcase. I'm Shut the fuck up.
Ten Story Showcase.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm Cossie. Joining me today is, on my left,
Charlie Harrison.
Oh my god, why'd you always do that weird voice? Joining me on my right is...
Where's Max?
There we go. Okay, so the premise is we're going to go through 10 stories until we find 10 that are interesting. Okay, time to open up the Chrome. And, right. So we're going to go through BBC News first, we thought, because that's a fairly, average news source.
Vanilla news.
Okay, so top one is Santorini deaths. London teacher killed in buggy crash.
Fun.
Yeah, I think that's a skip from me.
That's not very interesting.
I don't even.
Why is it the top story?
It's just the most read.
I don't care about
but
that. I don't care about teachers dying.
Teachers? Is it multiple teachers? How many
Yeah.
teachers?
Yeah, at least more than one. Should we do a little bit of investigation?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Bit of morbid curiosity.
Oh, is it just two? Oh, they're married.
Oh, that's grim.
Oh, divorced couple.
No, devoted.
Oh. Well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter either way now.
They look a bit like brother and sister, which is pretty mean to say, considering they are dead.
They're dead.
Yeah,
Nice
no.
one.
They were
What school
utterly
they
devoted
teach at?
to each other.
I bet they were Christian.
Well, vicar at St Mark's, so...
No, a vicar made a comment about it.
Well, if you're friends with a vicar, you must be into the church kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. What a church is
What's
into you.
Santorini? Is that a city
It's
or
a place in Greece, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. They fell into a ravine.
Oh, that is funny, Max.
It's like on GTA when you just go off the edge of a cliff, but you can respawn. You can't because they're dead now.
No, they just woke up in hospital. It's fine.
What? Oh.
Of course not.
And it was like their budget, their total cash went down by $200.
Oh, that is a bummer. Right, second one is Mueller report. Trump tried to get special counsel fired. Anyone interested in that?
No, but I want to read about the disabled toilet one.
Okay, so we're going to skip number 2 and then go on to George
How'd you pronounce
Alagaya.
Alagaya.
I think he's a reporter for the BBC. Guilt
Let's
over
click and
disa-
find out.
Yes. Yes, he's a newsreader. Has spoken of his guilt at having to use disabled toilets while having no visible disability.
What? Why is he
He has stage 4. Oh, I heard about this. He does have bowel cancer
first poo load?
because of having a stomach bag attached to his stomach.
Ooh.
I
That
don't get
is-
why he has to apologise. I shit in disabled toilets.
Why is this on BBC
No,
News?
well, he says when disabled people saw him using toilets, he would feel the need to apologise and explain.
Why
Which
is-
I guess is, yeah.
Who
Like-
cares?
Well, he needs to use it. He's disabled. Not all disabilities are
Oh my
equal
God,
visible,
just-
are they?
Yeah,
No,
but
they're not. Are
let's
they?
say that, I don't know, you were blind in one eye or something, but you can't see that you're blind. It's one of those
You're probably
corneas,
better off
but-
in normal toilets anyway, because you can't. You've got worse
Wait, why are you taking this so literally? It's just that you want to be like, oh no, I'm not just taking up the disabled toilet. I actually do have a disability. It's
yeah,
just
but
an
if a blind
invisible one.
person, they'd be
Oh
better
my
off
God.
in a normal toilet because they've got their depth.
Why does he
section's
feel
fucked,
guilty?
Isn't it?
Why does he feel guilty?
Yeah.
Because he walks
So
out
he
and he
looks
just looks
normal.
normal, and he doesn't say that, oh look, I've got stage 4 bowel cancer, I've got this stomach bag, etc.
So
etc.
Let
he
me
thinks
rephrase
disabled
that.
people are going to look up and think,
Let-
what's wrong with
Let
you?
me rephrase that then. I don't think he should feel guilty because he's got a disability, isn't he?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. But he feels like he has to because it's.
Charlie would
invisible.
walk out, and then if he saw a disabled person, be like,
Oh,
fuck you,
mate.
Are you fucking judging me?
Well, you
Yeah.
can just even if you just blag it, couldn't you? If I came out the toilet, which I have done, from a disabled toilet, and someone actually called me out on it, I'd just be like, sorry, I've got anxiety, I can't shit in public.
Sorry,
And then what can they say about that? Oh well, you need to be missing a leg to shit in that toilet.
Sorry, I had
It's not even good anyway
This
because
is
they're really small toilets, aren't they? They're like lower down than normal, aren't they?
This is
Disabled people struggle to lift themselves up,
disabled
don't they?
people not being able to shit at all is
No,
less
they can
important
shit, but-
to you than possibly a disabled person thinking badly of you because you're not disabled and you use a disabled toilet.
I don't understand your point. I'm
I
just
don't
saying that
understand
he
that.
shouldn't feel bad.
He shouldn't feel bad.
I think
Let him do
everyone
his
should
thing.
agree that. I don't really see where the story is here, and I think it's more embarrassing that he's just.
Well, he's just
At the end of the day,
apologising and explaining. Would you not do that if you
At
were in
the
the
end
same
of the day,
situation?
he's-
You just walk out and be
No.
like, I've got nothing to show to you.
No, it wouldn't be.
I
If
don't
I
know,
That's
had,
because
a-
you don't have empathy
if I
or
had
something.
not at all. If I had cancer
I don't
and I
know.
have to get a bag out and it's really awkward to go to the toilet, I'm not going to feel guilty because that's a disability. Why would I feel guilty just because someone has
he
a?
gets out, people don't believe him.
Hey?
He's like, here's my poo bag.
You
don't
wouldn't
believe
explain
me.
that. A
Why
bit
would
like-
you want to?
Why would you want to explain that, oh no, if you were thinking I don't have a disability, I actually do? Because you're a normal person. It would be a bit like if I was
define
driving...
normal?
Non-disabled.
You know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a conspiracy theory. I think
Oh, brilliant.
I think he could be lying. First theory, I don't tell anyone about when I go for a shit, because why would you?
Yes, you do.
his
You
is-
literally last time told us
Yeah,
about
but
it.
in public,
mates, though.
I wouldn't leave the toilets at
Charlie,
work.
what are
and
you
be like-
laughing? You weren't there.
I wouldn't leave the
You were
toilets
mates
at work and be like, oh, I just went for a killer shit. But
Really?
But his
I thought you live in
shitting
like a
story,
banterous
his shit
workplace.
story is now the third most read thing on BBC News. Point 2 has spoken of his guilt. Look at that face. There's no guilt in that face. There's no remorse at all. I think he's he's been caught shitting in disabled toilets with no disability, and he's doubling down on it.
Touche.
He's like, if I go, go big or go home. He's put this report out. So now, if anyone sees him, they cannot say anything about it. They'll be like, oh, you're that guy who's got
And
the
not just
poo bag.
Not just that, but BBC would be like, oh, you know, disabled person that we need to employ.
Yeah, we employ
like,
disabled people.
Have more money. You know what I mean? Have more money.
But
Right. Okay. So are we done on that, or?
yeah, I've got my
I'm done.
conspiracy theory out of the way. So.
Okay. So we've done 2. So we're down to number 3. London sewers blocked.
Yes,
by-
please. Yes, we're clicking on that.
Right. London sewers blocked by record-breaking Concreteberg.
Yeah,
I've heard about Fatbergs,
Fatbergs.
not Concretebergs.
I have a feeling it's made of concrete, perhaps. Weighing as much as 20 elephants is blocking 3 central London
Why are
sewers.
people pouring concrete into the sewers?
Wait, where does it say that? The 100-meter mass weighing 105 tons. Wait, I guess it's like builders or something. If you've got the end of a bag and you just want to like tip it out and then put it in a skip or something.
A very mean part of me wants to see like something explode, like just for them to leave for a week.
Got to chip away
And just,
at it.
like the people in coffee shops like mind the business, and some guys like, watch out! And they turn around.
They've generally got to chip away at it, and there's going to be poo in there. Like they're going to chip away, and it's just going to be like just shit preserved in the concrete.
Fucking hell. When you end up like flushing your toilet and it just comes up through your toilet, because it's got nowhere to go. That's just like a solid pipe kind of thing.
Look here though. Normally blockages are caused by fat oil and wet wipes.
Yeah.
So I imagine like people throwing wet wipes down the loo or something because
Yeah.
they're lazy. But now I've just got this image of like builders going to the loo, like, oh, I've got a bit of concrete. I'm like, oh, just chuck it down.
Like Andy Dufresne. Oh, I've got some in my pocket.
Who?
Andy,
Eddie
from
Dufresne.
Shawshank Redemption.
Alright.
Jesus Christ,
Jeez.
Josh, this is that film podcast. You don't even know the best movie of all time.
It's pretty good.
Right.
Oh, it's a Fatberg.
Fatberg, you know what they are?
Yeah,
Disgusting.
they are gross.
They're just like tissues and wet wipes and whatever mixed with like oil, and it becomes this just like
And poo.
lumpy stuff.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
A jackhammer to get through like a solid shit.
Oh my god.
An investigation into the concrete, how to the concrete got
Oh,
into the sewer
okay.
is. Oh, so they don't actually know.
So it might just be like a.
So it
it
actually
might
might-
just be like some dude dumping a full like lorry load.
What, 105 tons.
That's not actually that much. That's only like 2 cement mixers or whatever.
So maybe some sort of business would be being a bit shady, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's probably not business, probably just like you
It was
said,
the business who like
some
do the
blokes.
unplugging. They just dumped a whole load of stuff in like a clean sewer. And
I
then
know,
said-
I'm gonna get paid for the rest of the year.
Like how much did they say? It was £150,000 to remove.
Yeah, that's
They're
a
like,
good
oh,
point,
we'll do it
actually.
for 150,000. When they were pouring it, they just poured like dynamite so they can just like go down there, light it.
Oh my god, it's an endless cycle. They get the stuff they take out,
Yeah.
and then they
Oh,
put it back in
no.
at night time. Oh, it's there again. Oh, you'd have thought. You got to wear that again.
Right, well that was fun. Back to the thing.
Well,
So
we've got any more poo stories?
number 4, Sophie Graydon, Love Star.
Love Island starter for her own life.
You want to read it? I don't know. You went over the
No,
Trump one,
no,
which
okay,
is actually
carry-
important. Okay, Nusrat Jahan Rafi, burned to death for reporting sexual harassment.
I want to see this.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not, I'm choking on my chicken.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's actually quite sad. I thought it was a bloke.
Is it? It is a man, isn't it?
No,
Douse-
how was that a nun?
Nice.
Nusrat Jahan was that was a oh my god!
Where did they get
At
kerosene?
the school.
Her courage in speaking out against sexual harassment. Her death 5 days after being set. Her death 5 days after being set alight.
I thought-
She survived it.
I thought that said 2 weeks after.
telling
I
you
thought
she
it said
died
2
or
weeks
not.
after. Like she was down set on fire. 2 weeks after that, she reported her headmaster for sexual. No. Oh, that's grim. Poor girl.
The headmaster called her into an office and repeatedly touched her in an inappropriate manner, just like Charlie Harrison Madden. in the
Alex
UK.
Cossey.
Before things could go any further, she ran out.
Oh, this is so
Bangladesh
good, man.
has like a British, well not a British dude, but a guy who like lived in Britain for ages as their leader, don't they? It's like
Do they?
Imran Khan. He used to be like a cricketer, and he moved over
really?
to the UK when he was like 12 or something
Oh god.
to play for like county cricket
I
in
don't
the
think
UK.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, just like he's in charge, and it's like crazy that this kind of stuff is happening.
Yeah, but you can't really change it. Like, just because you've got some Britishised dude running it, it doesn't mean like.
Does that not surprise you? If
No,
if
it's
North
just-
Korea got taken over by, well, not taken over, but the new leader of North Korea was a guy who like spent all his life in the UK, would you not be surprised if all the kind of crazy crap carried on?
No, but
happening?
it's not about the country. It's about the culture and tradition. Like,
Are they not like?
So they probably think. Well, no, just because you whack a Britishy dude in as a prime minister.
Yeah, but they
for a few
voted for
years.
him. So
Yeah.
like, it's crazy that you'd vote for someone like that, but also still have these beliefs.
Yeah, but it's just backwards, aren't they?
Well, regardless, I think fair play to these girls for standing up to it, but it is a shame she got burnt for it. Isn't it?
a shame.
Well, it's such a
Well, it is.
thought.
No, it is though, isn't it?
Sensitivity is coming out there.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I can't imagine living in a part of the world where you have to deal with that.
What, being burnt to death?
Exactly. We take that for granted here.
Not.
I don't know anyone who's been burnt to death, personally.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next story?
Yeah, it's a bit grim.
Bit grim, depressing.
Yeah.
isn't it?
But then the news is a bit grim, to be honest.
How many throw are we? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
hello.
not
Fifth
one.
down.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, what family in viral photo found after? What does that mean?
Did anyone die in it? Like the Notre Dame or get
No,
hurt or
I
anything?
think they got everyone out.
Oh, okay.
What does this mean?
A family pictured outside Notre Dame minutes before the fire erupted has been found after a viral search.
Why is this a
said-
story?
Her photo showing them playing was shared widely. She wanted to share the memory with them, prompting an international. Oh, I think it's just one of those like.
They were looking for her. Oh.
Well, I guess they visited it just before it burnt down, so they were like some of the last people. And
That
I
saw it
think
properly,
this person,
is that the
like
point?
Brooke Windsor or whatever, I think she took a picture of some random people and then was doing that kind of thing where,
Oh, now it's burnt down. We've got to find these memories out and who like owns them.
yeah,
that
like,
sort
who
of
was
thing.
there,
Yeah.
and, like, what were you doing, and what were your
She's
thoughts?
just,
Next.
she's just using this to
She wanted to share the memory with them after like creepily taking the picture without their permission.
yeah, she's just using it to sort of try to get internet fame. To be
Yeah.
titled as Brooke Windsor.
81 people are talking.
This reminds me of like musicians that I know that when a tragedy happens, like, oh look, I wrote a song about it.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
sad. So here it's in Spotify. Just,
Yeah.
I
Or
know
you can buy it on
iTunes.
iTunes.
And
All the money will go towards
absolutely
the
no money will go
thoughts.
towards the.
It's to raise awareness.
Yeah.
Talking about raising awareness, I am raising awareness of women's issues in Tanzania over the summer. So if you want to donate to my thing,
You wrote a song about it.
yeah.
How does it go? Sing it. I'll give you a beat.
I'm not doing that,
Ding, ding,
Charlie.
There's barely even
Ah.
a picture of the Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's a bit of it in the background, and it could be anywhere.
Like, she's literally just fucking creeped
Plus-
on these people.
Plus, was that taken with like the front-facing camera or something?
Oh my god.
Why is it so like curved?
No, this is
quite blurry.
this is
but
all-
Is that a
This is
no,
all
no,
up front because the girl fancies the man, isn't it? I reckon. She's gonna be like, "Oh, I finally found you. It's a
Oh.
beautiful moment." Oh, so what we gonna do now? Oh my god! Go on. What should we do?
Yeah. Anyway,
Next.
boring. Number 5. We're halfway through, everybody.
All the stuff
and
to do about like.
how long have we been going
Whoa!
for?
You missed the cat story.
On the cat story.
Yeah, I'll go in a minute. I'm just trying to see how long we've been recording for.
We're gonna edit this out.
403 bars.
Beat. How long's a bar? 1, 2. About 4 seconds. 404 times 4 divided by 60. Someone do that at home. What was it? Mueller report. 6 things.
No, miracle cat found in sofa.
Yeah.
What about the
cat.
murdered train spotting
I don't
actor?
care about that.
Really?
I didn't even know who it was. I heard it on the radio earlier. I was like, I don't know.
Don't care.
Oh, tough.
I don't even know it. I haven't watched it.
He looks like
Bradley Welsh. I
Oh,
swear that's a famous person.
No,
Or is that
Bradley
Walsh?
Walsh. Yeah, that's what I was on. When I heard
Bradley
it earlier, I was
Welsh
like,
Was
you-
killed in their basement apartment in Chester Street, Edinburgh.
He lives in a basement apartment. I mean,
When?
that's really sad, but
Wednesday. Yesterday.
Ouch.
Nice. Anyway,
Cat.
doesn't count. Number 6. Miracle cat found in sofa at Slough Waste Centre.
Oh.
The lost kitten. Is that a kitten? It's pretty big for a
pretty big
kitten.
kitten,
yeah,
yeah.
it's been eating trash.
It's just like 90%
It's gonna be
garbage.
Generous
generated.
cat.
Oh no.
The cat poked his head up out the cushions while heavy machinery was moving the sofa on Wednesday, Slough Borough Council said.
It could have been a catastrophe.
Did it say that?
No, I'm just
Oh.
making a shit pun.
She said the
How did
6-month-old
it
kitten
survive?
named Tux was missing for 11 days after the unwanted sofa was collected from her home. Do you not? I don't know. Okay.
How did it live
How did-
for
yeah, how did
6
it live
days
there?
off food and water?
Maybe it rained or something and it could drink it.
It was in a van.
It was in a van.
Yeah, it said it was
It's
in
a very
van.
leaky van.
Wait, when did it say it was in a van?
Wow. Well,
6
either
days
way,
in a
water,
van.
in a van.
either way, fair play to the little kiddie. Fair play.
Broken leg and trying to raise funds for the operation.
Operation.
Okay. Yeah, it broke its
Oh,
leg.
broke leg. Oh.
She should just Photoshop a picture of it in front of the Notre Dame.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the last cat that was seen in front of Notre Dame. Its leg is now broken. Could we get some votes? Could we get some money raised for it?
Okay, so we've gone through the top 10 on the BBC News, and unfortunately we've only got through 6 stories, so we've got to do another 4. So, top stories on The Independent.
Let's have a look.
So,
Let's have a look.
Johnson grabs highly prized office in centre of Westminster to
Don't
prepare
care.
for Tory leadership bid.
Don't care.
Is that
Okay.
Boris Johnson?
Yeah.
Next one. Campaign for new UN court to fight global corruption.
God, The Independent is so boring.
It's pretty.
Fuck.
Whoa, but
Are we...
What happened? What'd you miss?
that was the thing about giant lion.
Oh,
Well-
what? Go back. Go back.
No, we'll do that next.
Ah. You're like, oh, dad.
Multinational action
Need
needed
to address- oh, whatever,
global
we'll do the
problems
lion.
Wow, that's
exist.
cool. Right. Anyway, lions next.
Nah, bigger than a
Lions.
polar bear. Look at that.
Where's that?
Oh,
At the
whoa!
bottom.
Larger than a polar bear.
Just
Oh, bones. It's not real.
people,
Fuck.
oh, there's people with fat genes. Oh, no.
Big bone. It's a big bone.
What do you mean? Did you say it's not real? What do you?
Well, it's not alive kind of thing. It's
Obviously,
extinct.
He's a
what the
God-fearing
fuck
man.
did
Of course,
you
it's not
think
real.
it was gonna be?
Well, a lion that was really big. You know, you get those sheep that are like giant, or a cat that's giant. I thought it was going to be a lion that was really big or something.
Steer cows.
What's a steer cow?
What's a stick out?
It's like when they have like. You
Why is
know,
this not opening?
You see like these massive cows. So they have all the girl cows, and they have big males with their balls chopped off to like guide them around and protect them, and they're fucking massive.
Why do they have the
That-
balls cut off?
So they're not shagging all the girl ones. They're just meant to like look after them. But if you Google them, they're absolutely massive.
Ultimate cock.
They're absolute tanks.
We'll put a picture in at the end. What are they called? Steer.
I think they're called steer cows. Because they
Right.
steer the herd.
Fossils of massive lion larger than a polar bear discovered in Kenya. Once apex predators across Africa, species weighed over over a ton, and over a ton and a half, and ate elephant-like creatures.
Over 2 tons.
Yeah.
2.5 tons.
That's like the same weight as your mum, Charlie.
Oh, Wendy, if you listen to this, don't have him round again.
Just hours after it was revealed, some bones in an old drawer in East Sussex belongs to Britain's earliest rabbits. I'm fairly sure rabbits were introduced by the Romans.
Really?
I think so. I don't think they're native.
I wouldn't know.
Some more old bones found in a drawer in Kenya. Why are they having drawers in Kenya? That's a lie. Have put that find to shame, as they turned out to be fossils from a new species of meat-eating mammal larger than any big cat stalking the world today. That picture looks really fucked. Looks like a combination of like a corgi's like stubby little legs, like a wolf's face,
Why was
saber-toothed tiger like teeth, and then like the markings of like a kind of like
why
fox
was
or
everything
something.
bigger and cooler before?
I think there was more oxygen in the atmosphere.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because it's one of those things where they say like Jurassic Park, why you could never do that is because the dinosaurs would just like suffocate.
Wasn't also the climate hotter, which meant plants could grow bigger and trees could grow bigger, which meant
I think that's also
big-
to do
big
with,
herbivores could
I
eat
know,
more leaves and
I
stuff.
I think
know.
that's to do with the oxygen as well.
Oh, okay.
And then humans just wanted to eat the big things.
But were humans around at this time?
Well,
Well,
but that's
how-
why we
how
don't
long
have them
ago was
anymore.
it?
22 million
No,
years ago.
because big
22
woolly,
million?
woolly
When's-
mammoths were around when humans were around. I'm just trying to work out if it's.
Yeah, and then they weren't. Because they
No, but
got
did
eaten.
humans hunt them out, or was this before humans? Is my
Yeah,
point.
22 million.
20 million.
years.
Oh, that's
I think
before
humans
then.
have been around for like the last 100,000. That's humans.
Or
and
200,000,
Before that,
say.
they were like.
I don't remember anything before that,
Oh,
personally.
oh, did you take the sent back in time 200,000 years, but immortal, and you've kind of like
Yeah.
forgotten what was going on?
I remember there being mammoths, but I don't remember these things. I don't really go to Kenya.
Right?
Don't like the climate.
Do you not?
No,
What's wrong with it?
dry.
You like it wet?
Yeah.
Like your women?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So what's
next?
that up to 7? Apple shows off recycling robots as it reveals new green
Don't care.
programs.
People with fat genes have 25. Oh, that's an obvious one.
Hey Charlie.
Oh, what's that? Fat genes.
People with most fat genes have 25 times higher risk of severe obesity.
Really?
Study says.
Wow, who'd have thought?
DNA is not destiny, but with those with a high genetic disposition have to work harder to maintain a normal weight.
Yeah.
Is that going to be over like loads of fat people's like bios now?
I think I saw
DNA is
a
not-
text about it, like
Oh,
a
no.
Twitter thing on a meme about it.
Oh.
People with the most fat genes are around 20 times more likely to become severely obese in their lifetime than people whose DNA has the greatest protective effect, a study has found.
There's people with more like higher metabolisms, I guess.
So the opposite of our unfortunately passed away reporter from Kanaka, Runham. He has something like that, doesn't he? The opposite of this.
Yeah.
Got really fast. He like burns weight in his sleep.
Yeah. So now he hasn't been to the gym in like 3 or 4 weeks. He's like lost all of his gains.
Has he?
Whereas if it was us, we'd just lose like a little bit, or maybe not even anything at all.
Or maybe we'd gain it, like Charlie. That month where he didn't go to the gym.
I haven't been for a week, lads. It's all swole now. Oh, that's quite nice.
That looks disgusting, Charlie. A picture of a burger. However, Dr. Kara said DNA is not destiny, like in the title. When it comes to weight gain and a healthy diet and exercise can offset a genetic predisposition. Nice.
Next one.
Next one. So that was number 8. So we're up to number 9.
2 more.
Teen arrested over suspected drug death of 13-year-old boy.
Meh.
Man gunned down in broad daylight in Birmingham.
Nah.
UK set to be hotter than Canary Islands
Erectile
over Easter
dysfunction
weekend.
drugs where 30 million sees the UK border,
Yeah.
That one.
and then the one below it as well.
Oh, the SS guard thing.
Oh, here we go. This is a
Fucking
good
hell.
end to this.
UK border police seized 30 million's worth of illegal erectile dysfunction drugs last year.
Why were they illegal? Seeing it was like elephant tusk.
Oh,
Maybe.
or like ground up tiger testicle.
Yeah.
Costly, how many times? You don't have to
Or-
get that. We've got
Fermented
decent pulled
crap.
hair out. You don't need to sneak it in anymore. Oh my god.
Go on then, Charlie, you want to read out?
Treatments for weight loss, skin lightening, HIV, cancer, and hair loss, among other serious illnesses, accounted for another 2.5 million of illegal medicines intercepted at ports and post offices.
Or someone was just like putting it in the post.
Uh,
Figures were released to the Independent as police warned that organised crime groups were increasingly moving into the trafficking of medicines.
Fake medicines.
Who's buying fake medicines?
People that are desperate, I guess.
How desperate do you have to be? I mean, there's
Very.
a like 99% chance that it's not going to work for
Can't you
you.
just get Viagra for like a couple of quid at Boots?
Can you?
It still doesn't say like it still doesn't say. The MHRA announced that Viagra will be made available over the counter. Oh, so it's not already.
Oh,
No,
Is
I
that
guess
why
you
they
need
do
a
it?
Subscription or something.
Is that why they do it?
Well, I think it's like it will be
Ah.
cheaper.
Oh,
Because there's
okay.
that. What's the Jared Leto film about drugs?
Oh,
It's like Texas Buying Club or something.
no, that's the other one about drugs. Well, that's the one about cancer and drugs. But
Okay.
there's the other one about drugs, Requiem for a Dream, which is far more harrowing and not so focused on Viagra.
Isn't that the one with Jim Carrey?
No, that's the one with Jenna. The girl from
Hunger Games or whatever.
the girl from the David Bowie film
What's the David Bowie film?
where he's like,
David
Bowie.
the babe.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, the girl from that, she was in that, and then it's just a very depressing film.
What's it about?
They just take loads of drugs. It's just about how like drugs ruin people's lives, and it's like filmed in a really morbid way, and people die.
Grim.
It's just horrible.
This has been brought to you by Charlie's Opinion on Drugs.
Please speak to a GP or healthcare professional if you have any questions or concerns about prescription-only medicines. Little.
I can't. Can you imagine?
That was something crazy. When I was
What?
having my rabies vaccination,
Yeah.
the
Did you get
person,
high on?
yeah, well, she was a pretty sexy, like 4'8".
14-year-old.
Yeah, she was really tiny. She looked like who's the Scottish like First Minister or whatever.
And she said she was here for work experience, but I was like, oh no, you've got to be the doctor, haven't you? And then
Nicola Sturgeon.
Yeah, she looked like her.
Oh yeah.
But she gave me like the rabies thing,
Who?
and just before she was putting it in, she was like, "You do know that this is like an unregistered one in the UK." It's like it's perfectly fine. And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Why would she say that?
She just had to. But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And then she did it. She
Yeah.
oh, you really
right,
told you.
should we do final story?
Yeah.
Former SS guard charged as accessory to 5,230 murders at Nazi camp.
Safety.
I felt bad for the people there, the suspect tells the prosecutors. I knew that they were Jews who had committed no crime. Let me read the title again.
How old is this guy?
He must be like in his 80s.
A former Nazi concentration camp guard,
92-year-old.
aiding and abetting at least 5,230 murders during the Second World War, 92-year-old Bruno D. is said to have spent 9 months on duty at Studhof near Gdansk in modern-day Poland.
Have you been there, or did you go to Auschwitz?
Went to Krakow.
Went to Krakow. The former SS guard claimed he was not a Nazi sympathiser and only joined the party's paramilitary organisation because a heart weakness restricted him to garrison service.
Wait, what?
I mean,
So he wasn't a Nazi
He couldn't. I think what they mean is that he couldn't be a soldier, so he had to be like something less. So they basically put him on instead of like guarding the frontier or fighting on the frontier.
Is being a Nazi soldier better?
Well,
Did they wait? Was he just an old guard, or was he, as they said, like SS?
It was
It's
not
one of those things where it's a bit like what you call that Brad Pitt film that's not Inglourious Bastards, the tank one,
yeah.
where he's like, oh, you know, prisoners of war, you know, let him go. SS, you know, kill him.
He was
Because they've done stuff to
he
them.
was he was a 17-year-old trained baker when he began work at the concentration camp. The former guard began work there and remained there until 1945. Oh, he began work in 1944.
I remained there until 1945, 3 days before Germany surrendered to the Allies. What did you do in those 3 days?
Probably won't have to be a baker.
I want to know. There should be a movie made about that called 3 Days.
He saw the gas chambers and dead bodies being taken to the crematorium. They have the same right to live and work like any other person, but that was just Hitler or his party who were against it. So they're trying him, right? Or yes, they're charging him.
He's charged.
See, I'm gonna go out and say this. I don't think he should be charged.
Of course you don't, Charlie.
I don't.
Of course you fucking don't.
But I don't. Think about it. He's 96, right? He's had his
And
whole.
Hitler
He's
did
had his.
nothing wrong.
In my opinion, he's had his whole life to regret anything he's done. He was 17, and we're not talking about a society like we are now, where all of a sudden just Nazis come on like, oh, we can hire you. Like he'd probably been indoctrinated into that culture. Like he wouldn't know anything else. That's my opinion.
Like, I don't know.
And what are you going to do? Who are you going to tell when you're in German territory, surrounded by German people? You're getting paid by the SS.
I can understand that. Like, you can't really be like,
Oh,
I don't really feel comfortable doing this, guys. So I'd rather go back to baking.
You got no choice.
Yeah.
Excuse me, manager. I don't like Nazis dying. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay, then in you go as well. Then that's what I think.
I get that, but at the same time, like,
You'd be the hero, wouldn't you?
at what
You'd be
point-
the one that go. You'd be the 17-year-old goes. I'm going back to my bakery. I'm not going to have any of this death stuff.
But can't you say that about everything? Can't everybody throughout history can just say like, oh well, you know, it was just what everybody else was doing, and I couldn't do anything different.
Well, he couldn't though, could he? What could he do different apart from die?
This is why war sucks. Well, one of the many reasons why war sucks. But like you could say he was doing his duty the same as a British person who killed like 70 Germans did their duty. They're still killing people,
Exactly.
but because his side lost. I admit, like they did kill, like it was awful, but like it's not like he had a choice. He was like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely. If you're going to send me anywhere, please put me in a security guard and crack in a camp because I want to see all the Jews be dead.
Exactly.
Like he's told to go there the same way a British soldier was told to go to Germany and kill Germans.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just that
Orders,
he was
isn't it?
he was placed in a worse place, but and they lost. That's the only difference. He's still just following orders the same as like a British or American troop was, but it's just the nature of how Germany was committing stuff then put him in a worse position.
Not just that. I think it's much different if we're talking about sort of high officials and generals, which 99% of the time were sort of swore allegiance. Well, they all had swore allegiance. But my point is they were quite
they were like they
vehemently
controlled
obsessed by the Nazi regime.
They controlled their actions.
Yeah, and they wanted to do these things.
But what was this guy? Because he was in the SS, which is like different to
that's
just.
What I was on about. It's not just a normal guy.
But we say that, but actually the SS did expand quite rapidly towards the end of the war.
Because they said he's 17 years old. Like you can't be like, oh, he's an elite soldier.
At the beginning, the SS were like as we're saying elite, but actually towards the end of the war, the SS, correct me if I'm wrong, I think were the biggest, were as big, if not bigger than the Wehrmacht when they started losing the war, because the SS were just like Himmler who commandeered the SS, which was like, right, come on, just
well, he says this here. What good would it have done for me to leave? They'd just found somebody else, which kind of makes it like, oh,
okay.
He did have a choice. Like, I get what you mean. If you're in a situation where it's like, do what you're told or be shot. Hell, you could even be a nicer guard than someone else. I get that, but if you do have a choice to leave, then yeah. Like, these were war crimes, right?
I felt bad for the people there. I didn't know why they were there. I knew that they were Jews who had committed no crime.
But the other thing is that he's like super old, and people say like, oh, he's so old, just let him go. There was this guy called the Golden State Killer, who basically was like a serial killer / rapist / thief in like the 60s and 70s and maybe early 80s, and they literally found him like last year. They did some DNA thing, and based on that, like his daughter or someone did like a smear test or something. They found it, and they arrested him. And he's like an 80-something-year-old man. But in the 70s, he was like a 30, 40-year-old man who did like tons of rapes and murders and stuff.
He chose to do that. So.
But so did this guy. He chose.
No, I disagree.
Well, why would you say, "Why should I leave"? You wouldn't say. Where is it?
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was like that.
Choosing to leave.
Where he said like, "What good would it have done for me to leave?" Why would he say that if he was like forced to stay there, or if he didn't have a choice?
I think what he means is like, if he'd have left, there'd have been nothing for him. I don't think he might have been paid, he might not have been able to do anything.
That is a shame.
Well, and not just that, but the shame, the cultural shame, I guess. Of
that is terrible. The cultural shame he would have got for not being a Nazi camp.
But it's easy to say this. Like, we won the war. We know the outcome of it. We know who the bad guys are.
No, he had the choice to leave, and he didn't. I think that's a terrible person if you don't.
I don't know. I don't think it's as black and white as.
It's not at all.
Hey, like we know, like you regard it, but if you like, I'm your manager. If you need to talk to me, if you don't really fancy it here at the guard tower of this extermination camp, let me know. We'll put you somewhere more comfortable. I don't think it was, especially towards the end of the war. I don't think.
And such a young guy.
I don't think it could really be like, oh, you can choose where you go, like at the end of the war.
And I'll repeat.
Like, 17.
I was just about to say. I'll repeat what I said. Like, this isn't like with this some 17-year-old you've taken out of 2019 and plopped him into Nazi Germany or Poland, wherever. This is a 17-year-old who's grown up with like with Nazi propaganda all around him. He might not, and I would argue.
Is that an excuse though?
Yes, definitely. Very different if you're in your 30s at that time. If you're at that time in your 30s or something, and you've known the world before. And you actually have a hatred and are racist towards Jews. He literally said he felt sorry for them. So there's obviously no contempt there.
Do you not think the same could be said for like ISIS people or whatever? They've grown up in areas where they've only ever known Al Qaeda and whatever. Like, why is that different?
I don't really know too much about ISIS stuff, but I guess you could argue the same. But I don't know really.
Like if in 100, well not 100, but like 70 years from now, some person gets charged for doing something in ISIS at the moment, do you not think that they were only young and they were born there and couldn't they leave?
What I will say is that I think it's very different charging as they have done like at Nuremberg, but also later on all the other cases they had of high-ranking officials which pioneered the killing. Yeah. But it's very different, and even if they're really old, like if they're 90s and they've maliciously done that and they've wanted to do it, that's very different. But this to me sounds like an old man who like millions of other people his age were not cultural. I'd say culturally forced, because I know they're literally not going with a gun and do it, but at the same time he needed to play a part in his society for him to get anywhere, and I think. He probably caught up with the wrong, like Max said, like the wrong time, the wrong place. And I just think and again, it's not like he's saying, "Oh, the Jews deserved it." He's literally saying, I felt sorry for them. I don't think that's something.
He could just say that.
Yeah,
he could.
Actions
I
speak louder than words.
I want to know what he's been doing since then.
Well, I guess like tons of people who were Nazis just like went on to do stuff. There's this engine called the rotary engine. It's in a whole load of Mazda things.
Oh yeah.
The guy who invented that is called like Philip Wankel or something. It's sometimes called the Wankel rotary engine. He was so much of a Nazi. He got kicked out of the Nazi party for being too extreme.
Yeah.
And he went on to be like this really famous engineer who got flown all around the world.
Yeah.
And stuff after the war.
Right.
And so I don't know. I'm sure this guy who's 96 did like. Just had a normal life. He might have kids or whatever. I don't know. I get what you mean about like, if it was just like he was a soldier in the army and being charged. Well, you didn't have any choice. But it does say that like, he said like he could leave, but if I left, they'd just put somewhere else in there. And if you're like, oh well, the culture would have really like punished him for that or whatever. Well, if it's the choice between being punished by culture or being complicit in like the worst thing humanity's ever done, but I don't really see that as being I see what you did and you shouldn't be punished.
I know what you're saying, and I do see your point, but at the same time, again, this is coming from a neutral 2019 where we won. It's what I mean. It's very easy for us to judge this person when he would have been 17 at the time. This is what I think.
Like if someone does a crime here and they're below the age of 18, like after the age of 18, it's like their records get changed, don't they, or something like that. Because they're obviously like the law knows that they're like I know it's not really comparable, but between like being a guard at like a concentration camp and committing a crime here now when you're like 13. Like after you're 18, they take into consideration that you are a kid and you like you don't have the total conscious like mindset to make your own decisions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they forgive you because they don't forgive you,
That's
but they take
not
that into
18 though,
consideration.
that's like 12.
Can we do a different question then? What the question I want to ask is, what would you do with him then? Kossi and Max and me and say.
Well, look, in terms of like people from the Nazis, he seems very tame. Like he doesn't seem like a standard kind of just like feet on the ground kind of soldier, but that's like the least Nazi you can be, or just a guy who worked in a factory or something. On the other end, you can be like Hitler or one of the top people. Like he's definitely not the same as a guy in a factory. He's slightly further up. I think that
Carry on.
just click off it. I think that I think you've also got to be like, just because this happened a long time ago, you shouldn't forgive it.
Oh no,
I mean, there's tons of like
No, I
war
do
crimes
agree.
that happened in the 50s, 60s, 70s, who the people are probably just as old.
No, I'm
They were, like,
not saying that though, but I know what you mean.
And so I don't know, like, what would he have been charged with if this was like 1947 or something? And I think that like whatever he got charged with now then should be carried forward now. If they were really lenient back then maybe they should be lenient now. But if it was like, well, you have to spend 5 years in prison or something for this, I think tough shit that you're 92. But
I'd agree with that. Like the SS guards, whatever they got charged with, the same.
yeah. And I think
but you said that, but a lot of guards did get the death penalty just because they're in the SS. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just stating a fact but a lot of the SS obviously were evil, but then some were just sort of there just because it was good pay and etc.
I can sympathise with him because it's like
I'm sure you can, Max.
because like I said, like you said,
SS.
so
Because
what,
my granddad was on the watchtower.
if he was 17 in 1944, so he's he's been born in 1928.
That's the
1927.
same.
He's been grown up in
During
Nazi
in
Germany.
But before
propaganda everywhere. Then he's 17 from a baker told that he has to join the army and like go to Nazi. Like that's really shit for a 17-year-old. But then, to be honest, like he's like not 92 now. He's gotten away with it for this long. Like I think the whole like debate, like around should you or shouldn't you, should be put to bed. Because like at the end of the day, you don't really want to be the guy like the judge who let a Nazi off. You might as well just put like him and like any other Nazis. You might as well just throw in jail because they're really old. They've lived their lives till now, so they sort of do deserve to have a little bit of punishment. And then there's no like weird moral debate about should we lock these Nazis up or not. Like they all just go in. That's sorted, done. Like history now remembers that all the Nazis got thing. There was no like weird sympathetic thing for Nazis after all that time.
I disagree. But I do know what you're saying. I in some ways I agree, but at the same time it doesn't go down well with me. And again, going back to the question I asked, like, would I sentence him if I was the judge? This is only going off what we know, because for all we know, there could be like way more info where actually he was a racist and he did hate them, with a passion. But from what I know, I think I'm not saying because he's old he should be let off, not at all. Because like you said, Alex, like I do think sometimes that just because you're old isn't a scapegoat for evil crimes. But at the end of the day, I think taking his age into account and taking his what he was saying about the time, I don't think there's any point charging him. I'm not saying he's innocent, but at the same time, I think we have to take into account the context of the time. Just summarising what I said earlier.
Then it is sort of like what Kossi said, set sort of a precedent. Like, what if you found out the guy who was like that American or British guy got their heads chopped off on live telly? If you found out the guy in the background who stood there with a gun and watched it happen and helped film it, escaped, and then 80 years later you find him, like, would you, like, how you feel now? Would you be like, well, it was 8 years ago, let him off?
That's a good point. Actually, what you say
And if
that.
he grew up in like Syria,
you wouldn't be like, it's fair enough. Like, people have to pay for what they do. Like, they have to have a punishment, regardless of how long it's been. You can't just let them off.
And like the other part of like the culture thing, you can always blame everything. Everybody is a product of their environment and their upbringing. And so you can just say that like, this guy who like went out and murdered 3 women, it's not his fault because you see he was rejected when he was young and he was bullied at school and whatever. He had an abusive dad, so it's not his fault. So we should just let him go. you can't do that. I think if you say that, like, oh, he was brought up in Nazi Germany, so he became a Nazi and he hated Jews and he worked at the concentration camp, but it's not his fault because if he wasn't in that situation, he wouldn't have done those things. I think you can be sympathetic to someone's like upbringing, but you've got to judge them on their actions, not.
I think I'm trying to put myself in his shoes as well, though, and just try and imagine me. Like you said, Mac, what 1928, or whatever. So that's what Weimar Republic, isn't it? It was an awful time.
Yeah.
Then seeing your nation like from that low, all of a sudden be built up by this Hitler bloke, who, regardless of your your views on him, and of the policies against Jews, which are awful, the country picks up and has an absolute cultural and economic golden boom, which it does. No, it literally does because he got rid of the Jews and he killed them all. What? What? What?
I don't know. I've read stuff that says that like pretty much every country had a boom then because it was after the recession, and I don't particularly think Hitler had much to do with it.
Oh, okay, then we'll take that aside then. So let me rephrase that then. So regardless of anything,
Yeah, but
there was
propaganda-wise, Hitler would be like.
That's
the propaganda would have been like, we're booming because of Hitler.
Yeah.
It would
Okay.
be like, because of
So
America.
look, you're being punitive. Take that aside. So either way, he sees Hitler take power,
Well,
and
he
all
doesn't, he's like-
and coincidence or not, Germany does really well. He might just be thinking in his 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old self, oh well, this is obviously the way of the future. This is obviously what the world's going to look like. He wouldn't know that he'd lose the war. He might just think, oh, well, I've got to do this. I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to have to take part in like killing these people, which I don't, like he said, at least we're led to believe, like that he doesn't want to kill. But in the same way, he might just think, well, I've got to do it because that's what my country's doing at the moment, and blah blah blah. But I do see what you mean. I think it's a really tough one to discuss.
But
I
what's
think
like the difference between what you just said now, or just previously, and what a Nazi sympathiser would say? Like,
Well,
isn't that what Nazi sympathisers say? They say that like, oh, it's not their fault, and it was just a
well, no, I disagree completely. I disagree completely. There's been many stories, which I've read over the past like 5 years, which because my dad shows me because he always we talk about it quite a lot, and I hate them because it's like a guy, like an old guy that's been living a Nazi that's been living in Argentina for like 50, 60 years, and they're responsible. Literally, there's no question, there's no doubt, they're responsible for like thousands and thousands of killings purely based on their orders. Well, that's very different, isn't it? You know they're evil, and
So
you know.
actually, this is quite a specific number. Where did they get that number from?
Well, he worked out
5,230.
It said that he worked there for 7 days, so I imagine that's how many people were
7
killed
months.
over those 7 days.
For 7 months.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess 7
I
months
mean,
then.
you said about putting yourself in his shoes. To be entirely honest, if I was in his shoes and I knew that I was a guard at a concentration camp during the Holocaust,
August.
and I got away with it until the age of 92, I wouldn't feel that hard done by. Like, I think he's been lucky enough to not have to deal with it until now.
That's a good point, actually.
Like, I mean, he's probably bummed that they've actually charged him eventually. But like I said about the, like Kossi said, he should get punished for whatever people got punished for then. He's managed to go all these years without getting punished for a crime.
Yeah.
Like, he should still have it coming to him.
He's probably come to the end of his life. That's a good point, to be fair. But I think I'm not saying it's fair or not, but I think like you said, Max, I think that is a very specific number, 5,230.
Yeah,
Just because he was like he lived, but that's I think that's
really,
Well, they had like records of how many people are
knowing how many people exactly were dead.
So I imagine they literally, they said at the bottom like the bookkeeper of Auschwitz.
So
I guess they literally have a book which says
all
the people that were killed and
But
who was on shifts, and they've just done it that way.
I think, and again, this isn't just to back up my point, but I do think that's a slightly biased title because you read it and you think, oh my god, this guy like. You don't imagine some guy with a gun like in the background or some guy carting bodies or whatever. You literally think, oh, this guy's like the one doing it like every single time. But actually, you read it and he's not, is he? He's just
saying that murder's a strong word, and I think it is justified in that.
Oh, it's definitely murder, but is it him that's doing the murdering? No. It's a collective, isn't it? It's a group collective, and I guess you get into the point.
That's what accessory to murder is,
Yeah.
which is what it says in the title.
No, I'm just saying. Well, I guess it's a grey one, isn't it? I think either way.
Would go to jail for quite a while, wouldn't he? 'Cause
What-
we're thinking like, probably 3 or 5 years or something like that, but accessory to murder, like, if you're accessory to a murder in a normal case, you probably go to jail for like a decade at least.
Yeah.
You're being served a 3,000 years.
We'll do a decade times 5,000. We'll round it down.
Either way, I think regardless of what we all feel, I think it's very grey. I think not the Nazi murder, but but his involvement in it, I think.
Well, I think we've literally talked about this story for like the same amount of time
As the
as
other
the first
stories.
9.
I bet all the other secret guards haven't found getting shit themselves now.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a couple of extra segments to pad this out to the hour, or
Nice.
maybe like 45 minutes.
Probably that already.
So we've got first story. Max is going to talk us through some of his work-related shenanigans.
What's it called again? The little subtitle of this.
Max's wonderful work
No,
life.
I could say about the
Max's
Christian woman.
Max's wonderful work life.
How
We'll come up with something and edit it in.
Yeah.
Put a silent bit so that we can get a nice go.
Yeah, so as part of my job, we have to sometimes.
Do you want to remind everybody where you work?
Car rental company of an undisclosed name.
One of the two.
Oh no, but and then the pickup service that we offer is very unique to the one I work at. But no, so I had to go pick a woman up, and she was just a bit of a crazy bitch. So
It's like GTA style. You drive past her,
She was just nuts.
get some health points.
Like, so when I called her up and informed her about, the rental and everything, I told her there was a £200 deposit. She was like, "That's disgusting. I was not informed about this on the website. Have a look, it's nowhere." To be fair, it's not very clear on the website, but it's in the terms and conditions, so it's fair game.
Oh,
You
there you
say
go
it's
then,
on the website,
yeah.
you should have read it.
Mm.
And so I picked her up. She was actually really nice. She seemed a bit sickly, and she said she didn't have a job, but she was going away for a conference. So I was like, "What sort of conference?" Like a Christian one, and it was.
Wow.
She started talking to me about. I was like, "So what do you do?" And she was planning to set up like a.
Cult.
No, it was actually quite a noble thing. She said she was planning to set up purchase a farm in Spain with money given to her by one of these super churches in America. Like these mega
those
churches.
super churches are huge.
A Texan
man, they're
mega
awful.
church.
Yeah, they're mad.
Run by this guy, like 5,000 people.
Should we try to get sponsorship for this podcast
Yeah,
from a
from
super
Mega Church.
church?
Yeehaw! This podcast sponsored by Texan Mix Church.
Those 15 viewers, we can send at least one of them over.
So she started talking to me. She was like, so she was setting up, she was purchasing a farm, some land, to home women who've been trafficked illegally.
Fucking
Wow,
hell, that's
sex
really
thing.
good.
That's really
Yeah,
nice,
I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, that's really noble of you." She was like, "Yeah, well, I've just been doing
Did
a lot
you
of-"
actually use the word noble?
Yeah, no, I was
I don't
like,
think I
"Oh,"
could
was
use
like-
that in real
I was
life.
like, "No, that's really nice for you." Wow. She was like, "Yeah, well, doing a lot of praying recently, reading the Bible a lot." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "No, I just know this is what God wants me to do." And I was like, "Wow, that's really good." And then the question came up, "Are you religious?" And I was like,
Oh, what did
"No."
you say? Let's have a statement on the tape.
I was like, "No, not really." She literally said the words, "Shame." I was like, "You fucking bitch." I was like, "Well, who are you? Like, what? Shut the fuck up!" Like, Mrs. High Mighty, suck me off.
This is why I don't like. I don't always like religious elitism. I hate
Dickheads,
it.
man.
Yeah.
And then, so we picked her up at 5
Well,
o'clock.
she is helping trafficked women,
Yeah, so
but then
she's
at the same time she did say shame to you. So I think
That's
she's
exactly-
definitely
yeah.
going to hell. But then, so we picked her up at 5 o'clock. The rentals work on a 24-hour basis, but she was coming back on a Saturday. So I told her
What day
we
was
closed,
this? Friday or?
I don't know. She came back on a Saturday, so I told her we closed on Saturday at 5 o'clock. If you want to lift back, you'll have to come back an hour before at 4 o'clock. Lo and behold, 5 to 5, she rocks up, fucking spluttering everywhere 'cause she's ill. I was like, "Stay away." I literally said, "Can you stay away from me, please? I've just got over an illness." She made me get her bags out the car,
Oh no.
of which there was a lot. I had to pick up her
Clock
wellies.
is ticking. How many minutes to 5 is it now?
Yeah, and I was like, "Time to go in for her." She sits down there, she looks around, she's like, "Right, which one of you is taking me home?" And I was just like, gobsmacked. I was like, and I looked at my manager, and he was just looking at her in disbelief. I was like, "I did tell you that you'd have to come back early because we closed now at 5. She was like, "Yeah, but I couldn't get back any earlier." I was like, "Well, we can't drop you back then." She was like, "Well, how am I meant to get home?" And my manager was like, "Oh, we'll just book you a taxi and take the money out of your deposit for you." As if he was like doing her a favour. She was fuming, and then the worst bit is that I think I went. It was the Saturday we went out, so I came to pick you up. She lived.
Thanks. Was I invited to that?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Was I?
Yeah, you were away.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And she lived in Kyneton, so I actually totally could have dropped her back and picked you up.
Yeah.
But I was
For the
like,
viewers at
"Fuck
home, I
off."
live near Kyneton in
Yeah,
Warwickshire,
no,
but please
she
don't
was,
look me up.
She was just a knob. I just thought she was very rude for a high mighty Christian, and I was just like, no, like no matter how good, like you think, like who you say shame. And then I sort of saved it. I was like, "Oh, I've got a friend who's religious, so," and I started talking about Chris, and she was like, that got brownie points for some reason, and she was fucking flicking her bean.
I assume she, because I think sometimes like the connotation Like, I'm guessing she didn't go, "Oh, that's a shame," like jokingly. She probably said it like, and she
No,
meant
she's like,
it.
oh, thought about it. It's a shame.
Oh, that's a bit...
Yeah, but she sounds like so fucking depressed, to be honest. She was
Oh,
telling me
yeah.
about like, oh, I'm so tired, I haven't slept in days. Oh, my life's not great right now. And
Thanks,
then I
God.
could tell she's
I thought
obviously
she
like,
said she was happy.
no, she was
Oh,
really
okay.
miserable when she arrived. She was fucked off over the phone. She had to speak to your manager about not knowing it is the deposit. Oh, and then it was super awkward. I told her about the excess. I didn't tell her about it over the phone like you meant to. She was already kicking off. I was like, I cannot be arsed with you. And I got to the car. I was like, I don't assume you want to reduce me. You've got an excess of £1,000. She's like, I was not aware of this. And then, no, shit you not. Until the moment I said bye and close the door, she did not say a single other word to me for like the whole other like 3 minutes. This transaction. I was like, can you sign here? She just signed without saying a word. And then I was like, bye, bye. Close the door, drove off. I was like, fucking hell.
Wow.
Psychopath.
Psychopathic Christian
But yeah,
lady.
she just sounded like she was miserable, and I was like, well, it's like if she was miserable and then doing this and she wasn't like a cock about it, I'd be like, oh, that's really sad. I hope you get better and save all those traffic victims. But no, she's a bit of a knob. She's gonna be a knob in Spain. I was like, you're gonna learn Spanish?
What?
I was like, you're gonna learn Spanish? She was like, no.
This is.
Do you learn
Actually-
Spanish when you go out to Spain?
See.
Do you think?
Dos cervezas, por favor. Mi amigo.
Do you think she'd be the type which? So you know when they get the traffic ladies back to this place, which is nice.
Traffic ladies with a lollipop.
Like
directing.
traffic girl. Do you think she'd be the type then that would actually like convert, and if they didn't, she'd get really angry with you?
Yeah, probably.
Which this is why I don't like it. You see, it's
How
it's
many
not
minutes
doing
did
it.
you
for-
talk to this woman?
20 minutes.
20
Back
minutes, so
from
you can just
Kaiser.
judge everything.
But the way, no, but
What do you think her
seriously.
favourite type of food was?
Probably.
Probably-
Who do you think she voted for last?
Probably like
last-
wine
probably-
and bread.
Probably UKIP voter.
Yeah, no, she probably voted for fucking Christian political party or whatever. It's bound to be one.
Probably. Right, that was a good segment. Alex, now time for your segment on random car fact of the week.
Perfect. I didn't have one. I bought an engine block today, a big V8 one from a Triumph
Is that
Stag.
like a Minecraft term? Like an engine block.
Yeah. So anyway, it's sitting in the boot of my car, and I went round a roundabout a bit too quickly, and I heard it like go thunk against the side of the car, and I was like, oh fuck. But I got out and I looked, and I'm like, oh phew, I've got away with it. And it was only like a couple of hours later, I stopped off at a Sainsbury's, and I got out and I had a look, and it's like punctured a hole through from the inside. I'm like, oh. So,
Oh, man.
I was gonna say, Max, you had like some dent person that you have a specialist with. Do you get like a cheeky discount for being at?
No, I've never spoken to him.
Haven't you?
I just know he's called Dent Devil.
Dent Devil. I think that sounds like a company, not a person.
Yeah, but I just call him Dent Devil because I don't know his name.
Oh, Mr. Devil.
But he's got a really weird kit. Like there was a dent in the front of his car. And he was like you know Mouse Hunt where Christopher Walken goes to get the mouse and he has all these like gadgets and like he has that wire he pokes through the house with the
I have
camera
no
in.
idea what you're talking
Sorry,
about.
Mouse Hunt. You not seen it?
I haven't watched
Is
that
that the one
I'm
with Mr.
afraid.
Bean in?
No, it's the one with.
That's a rat race.
That's the one with Lee Evans in. Lee Evans and Nathan.
Anyway, carry on.
Not Nathan.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
had,
but yeah, so he gets all these gadgets out that you'd never think he's using that to get a dent out of the car. Like he has like mirrors and like bits that come up like a little robot arm and everything. It's just
is it like that bit in Toy Story 2 when he's like
Oh,
got
yeah,
them all-
yeah.
Making Woody on Ice again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that's what's happening to my Salika.
Brilliant.
Charlie, what about your crappy
I
band? What's the name?
Band, but I haven't got a band name yet.
Haven't you?
But I finished my.
You should call it 10-story band.
Sorry, band. This one's for you, Al. I was like, what? This one's for you, Al.
That's what you have to say
Yeah,
every time.
This one's for you, Al. I actually made my first proper song for it today. I
So
actually need the
sick.
lyrics, and I'm done for that song. But
So what part did you write of it?
no, but I wrote the triangle bit.
Oh, nice.
No, I wrote the whole thing. It's my project, so I'm writing all the songs myself, and then I just need people to join me in a band and play my songs for me.
Nice.
So yeah, like mercenary people, basically.
You should just like train a whole load of robots to play things, and then you can just be like on your own.
That's a good point, actually. Yes.
Okay, that was interesting.
Thanks,
Now we're
Al.
going to do a little segment called the Reddit readout or something,
Yes.
which was a little story or a little like thought experiment that we
We should just do this for everything.
Can we
talked
do
about
the
at
theme
the
tune
beginning.
for the Reddit readout very quickly?
You can do it at the end, and I'll re-edit it in. So it sounds... Okay, don't listen to me. Right. The question this week, which
I'm
we
meant to
got
sing it.
told at the beginning, but I completely forgot, so I haven't come up with an idea. So I'm going to rely on your quicker brains to come up with an answer. Earth is getting an
What's
update
it?
patch, and you're a dev. Aside from humans, which animals get buffed and which get nerfed?
Wolves get buffed, bears get buffed. Because wolves need to be reintroduced back into Britain to then balance
how are
out
you
the
gonna buff it
ecosystem.
then?
Make wolves have more resistance to bullets.
That sounds like exactly what they would. If you did that, then they're just like not going to bring back wolves.
No,
I think if you make them like bulletproof, they're going to be like, "Fuck me, we're not. We're
That's
just
a
going
good point, actually, no,
we're
that-
just going
yeah.
to try to make these extinct from everywhere."
That's a good
I mean,
point.
if you like,
Okay, then in that case, what's
are you coming up with a decent answer, Max? I'm relying on you.
pandas. Pandas need a update.
They get like panda
A
version
buff to like want more sex, so they can actually
Yeah.
stay alive and be a bit
Oh,
more aggressive, so
deep
they can
buff.
actually
Okay.
eat like, or seriously, like because they don't get enough nutrients to actually like do things from the bamboo anymore, do they? Really? So they just sit there just eating bamboo. I think they should have a bit more energy somehow to then like eat.
Okay,
Give him some monster.
Max, what are you going to go with your buff then?
I don't know. But
Plus, we
I'd
get
say-
to do humans, so we can give humans a buff as well.
Oh, okay.
It says
Or-
aside from humans.
Yeah. Which animals get buffed and which gets nerfed? Humans are going to be buffed or nerfed or whatever.
Oh, we're making our own thing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think donkeys should get buffed.
Why?
Because I feel like donkeys get a bad rap because they're like horses.
Not
but they're just-
camels. After last week.
No, donkeys. Because camels can bench loads apparently, but donkeys they're like, they just feel classic. And like, if a donkey was as big as a horse, they'd be really cute. And then in terms of
What?
They're only
You want to
cute.
make a donkey the size of a horse?
Yeah,
to
I
be
do.
That's the stupidest thing ever.
But I just feel so sorry.
That's
for
like,
them
I wish
because-
one of the old minis was the size of a new mini.
Yeah, but
So
it's-
what?
it's
You're making it like
but it's like, I
1.2%
feel like-
bigger.
Yeah, but I feel like donkeys like they just get ragged on. Like it's like the little kid in the class.
Plus,
Like,
they're not
they
even
need to
like
be
a
as big as everyone
proper.
else.
Is it donkeys? No, it's
Mules.
mules.
Thinking of
Isn't it
mules.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not
Which
even
is
like a proper
worse.
creature.
That's just the off-breed between the two. When the,
Oh.
What is that?
when
Is that
the Chad horses rape the beta donkeys,
The
have their way with
Chad?
them. Yeah.
What the
And in terms of nerf,
wait.
gorillas.
What about my
What, are we doing buffs first?
We're gonna go through
Gorillas,
buffs.
go on then,
yeah.
what do you think?
that
I'd buff
wasn't
up
very clear.
what's it called? Dragonflies.
Why?
Because
Fucking terrifying.
if they could be like bigger, that would be pretty sick.
It'd be
So
like-
you can- so you can ride them like a
Yeah,
dragon.
yeah.
It'd be like the mist.
I don't know if we can make them that big.
It's so horrific.
Beautiful.
You just put them in a tent with more oxygen, let them grow bigger.
Okay, stop that. Not dragonflies. What's cute but flies? Like a sparrow. Just a giant sparrow, like the size of a horse.
Adorable sparrows.
Why would you buff them?
Those
Just
cute sparrows.
so you're just buffing just to have like magical mythical creatures, aren't
Yeah.
you? I'm buffing them to like keep them alive. You're just like, oh, I want a giant panda. I want
Yeah,
a
we
giant...
can do what's it called? Conservation
Oh,
efforts and
Can we
like.
buff the extinct lion.
I want to joust on a giant ladybug. Okay,
Oh,
thanks,
yeah.
okay. Sure.
That would be sick. Come on.
Okay, Alex.
You'd do that. Okay, so which ones are you gonna nerf? Can't be humans.
It's better to humans, man, because humans are the worst thing.
After all, man was the real monster.
No, gorillas need to get nerfed.
What?
So whenever I watch one like a documentary, I just feel really.
Don't worry, they're
inferior.
being nerfed every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they need to get nerfed quicker. Or they need, like them and like chimpanzees. You see them, they're fucking.
I feel like if I feel like if
really inferior.
I feel like if gorillas like could actually talk, it's game over for like men humans. Like
Well, yeah, you get
we're gonna
sexy
get all
gorillas,
cooks.
don't you?
We're gonna get complete cooks.
They're not actually that big, I think.
They're fucking huge.
No, they're like
Mushroom-
5'5"
yeah, but
kind of thing.
They're like Josh. They're just like tiny, fucking huge.
I don't think they're like. Are they 5'5"? Yeah, but they like hunch. They got bad posture, haven't they?
Okay, I don't know.
But no, they're fucking. But it's like we're meant to be the superior humanoid thing, and we look at them and they'd fucking rake me apart.
What if what's it called? Like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. If they got clever.
Yeah. Like if they
Don't
did
worry,
that,
I don't
they-
think that's gonna happen. I'm fairly sure that their brains like couldn't even be.
Yeah, but it's because they haven't.
Well,
they haven't had
this is
the
then a reason why we're
James
like.
Franco magic yet.
Okay.
This is why humans are the best, the apex, like species in the world. It's just because of our communication. It's not because of our
Yeah.
strength. We're like one of the weakest.
Well, isn't that a thing that humans are actually like deliberately weak so that we rely on like communication and thought and stuff?
Yeah, all goes into our brains.
Something
Doesn't it?
Beta would say.
The only
I'm
thing-
proud of my weakness.
the only thing
I
that-
communicate with my boys
the,
online.
the only thing we do well is sweat. We're the only animal that can sweat.
And we
Alex
can,
Cossey's
Really?
And we can,
Yeah, we're the only animals that can
No,
sweat.
that's not true.
No, we're the only animal. Every other animal in the world has to stop and breathe to get the same to cool down, whereas we can sweat, so we can run.
Beavers don't
What?
Your mum's beaver sweats.
I was just saying at school, wasn't it? Sweat like a beaver.
Wait, so who are we debuffing then? Sorry, who are we?
You've got to choose a
Who we're
debuff
nerfing?
now.
Oh, okay.
Nerf.
So you said see, that's
Gorillas.
Gorillas
Even
is a
though
good
I'm
one.
like, they're going extinct. Who cares? You don't need to like give them another disadvantage.
Nerf.
Fine, I think
I've got a
that's
nerf. I think mosquitoes.
Ah,
I think they're
yeah.
like they breed mosquitoes or midges, whichever one's like more dangerous. Just because like
Probably mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Like mosquitoes like kill like millions of people. Oh well, those midges are a bit itchy, aren't they?
Gotta remember
don't they do the same thing?
Got to remember my midge net next
No.
time I go out to Africa. Is this
No,
the
they're
trade
just-
they're giving you for Tanzania?
Midges just like bite. Like there's like hardly
thought
any
they can
chance
give
of
you
getting
disease as
well,
well.
nowhere near as much as but the diseases that mosquitoes carry are way worse. Way worse.
Well, those because like
Jurassic Park's fake news. They need to find midges in amber and take the blood from them.
but yeah, because like where do they even come from? They're just like they can live on nothing.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
I know
Plus,
what-
I don't even think like if you got rid of them, I don't think that like the whole ecosystem would be destroyed.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think I know what should get nerfed. Ticks, like quite similar, just like a pest,
Ticks, yeah.
and something which doesn't really do much for the ecosystem. Like other things, like if we're like, oh, you know, people
You get
go,
rid of
we
worms
get
or
people get rid of
snails,
wasps or bees,
spiders.
like because they sting, but actually you
They
take them away,
pollinate
they pollinate
plants
things,
and
and even
stuff.
wasps like kill certain predators, which.
Ah.
But things like ticks, like I don't think they are of any benefit to any of the species. I'm
Well,
not saying that animals have to have benefit to us, but just.
Should we get Josh on the thing?
Friend, friend.
Maybe.
We should probably wrap this up now because it's very late.
Let's wrap it up. So yeah, I'm nerfing ticks.
Nothing ticks. Okay, and humans, we get to give them either a buff or a nerf. What do you want to do?
Obviously a nerf.
A nerf.
100%. Yeah. Extreme nerf or extreme buff. Extreme buff being like we ascend Earth and make like our own space colonies and like.
How's that though? This has got to be like a genetic thing.
Oh. Well, nerf then.
How are you gonna nerf us?
That's a good point.
I think I'm gonna buff us and give us like photosynthesis. Then we don't have to eat food. We can just like go out in the sun and get energy or something.
That's cool.
Because then we won't have to have farms and stuff, so we can be like more efficient.
So, yeah.
Plus, people won't go hungry,
Let's go.
and we won't like affect other ecosystems.
So, I was about to say, I'm thinking from like a saving the planet sort of context. Like I don't.
So that's I think humans, and that's a buff. What do you want to give them, or what do you want to?
I want to say nerf, but like you said, I can't think of any biological thing unless we made ourselves dumb. I'm thinking that the perfect time where humans were like in what would you call it? In sync with nature would be like tribal before we like made
caveman
civilizations.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
because even though we didn't have many medicines or anything, we had natural remedies and things. But actually, we hunted enough so that things didn't go extinct. They just had little villages. It was when we expanded with agriculture where we started to become more, kill everything off. So I'd say nerf maybe, but I don't know how we'd nerf it biologically to get us back to that level. We'd have to like make ourselves dumb, wouldn't we? So I don't want to make myself dumb.
Okay. What about you, Max?
I don't know. I don't
Just come up with something funny so that we can end it on it.
Bath bigger dicks.
Okay.
All right, that wraps it up.
Well, with that, that's episode 1, finally, of 10 Story Showcase. We've got a YouTube, so go and subscribe to that if you want to see it.
YouTube.
Will you do any animations for this, maybe?
I will one day do an animation for it. Yes.
So, well, if you can do them, I'll upload them.
20 years.
I've got a campaign?
Camphill.
Camphill, yes. No, I've got like a fundraising thing, so if you want to check that out, and send me to...
I'm just not doing anything much. I'm just going to like help people, like if they're in Tanzania, Nepal or something. Like I'm just one of those white guys that just wants to help out the world.
Dude, I want to be part of the solution, not the problem.
I've got a beard and long hair. I'm 22 or 23. Like, I want to make the world a better place, man.
Yeah, well, if you want to send me off for 3 months, then that would be appreciated. Charlie, you don't have anything going on, do you?
I have a gaming YouTube channel, Lieutenant Chapper, and if you're into gaming things and if you're into really bad editing, head on down.
You might want to actually say how they search that.
Oh, just type in Lieutenant Chapper in YouTube and it will come up the first thing. You can't miss it. It's got a really silly picture of Pierce Brosnan in a Scots Greys hat. So yes, I'm a
Right.
nerd.
So, do you think we'll be able to get another one of these out for next week?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see us next week. This will be released on Tuesday, and we'll release the next one the next Tuesday. So...
And here's the outro theme.